Coming up, what hotel should you pick for a Walt Disney World stay? Well, if you have kids, this would be our top pick. But even if you don't, you should consider this place. In this video, we explain why. Good morning, everyone. This is Trey from Midwest Day Trips here in Orlando, Florida at Walt Disney World. And today we have a guide to the Pop Century Resort. We're going to tell you everything that we know about this place based on our experience. It's a really cool place to stay at Disney World for various reasons. So come day tripping with us. This is not our first visit to Disney World, but this is the first time that we've stayed on property, and we can definitely confirm that staying on property is the way to go. The number one reason for us is to be inside the Disney bubble, but we'll discuss the Disney bubble in a later video. To sum it up though, there's a lot of value to be had when the fun doesn't stop just because you've left the parks and are now in your hotel room. But for me, the fact that I never once saw a newspaper or a news program playing in the background was a major selling point. To be able to forget the outside world for a few days is priceless. And the theming of this hotel is that all things pop century from the 20th century. Pictured here are various items steeped in nostalgia, put on display for people to enjoy and remember from times past. Most of the Disney resorts have arcades, but the Pop Century actually has the biggest one, and it's definitely a biggin'. Now, on paper, the hotel has very few amenities, but you have to take into consideration this is a Disney hotel, so the amenities may not be obvious unless you're familiar with the way it works. You can get into the parks 30 minutes early if you're staying at a Disney resort, and here at Pop Century and at the Art of Animation across Hourglass Lake, you have the Skyliner. And having tried it out personally, it is a game changer. It makes transportation so much more efficient. Art of Animation is another fine choice for a Disney hotel, especially if you're traveling in a larger group. Either way, you can't go wrong. Like I said, the Skyliner station is nestled right between the two resorts, and it gives you easy access to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. I don't know if Disney realized how much value they have added to these two value resorts by putting the Skyliner here. Seriously, the Skyliner alone is a fabulous reason to stay here. We enjoyed our room. It comes with a bed and another pull-out bed that folds into a table. So as with any other Disney establishment, theming is everything. We have a section for the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Starting with the 50s, we are taken back to a simpler time. There's vinyl records everywhere, and all of the stairways are made to look like bowling pins. Here in the 50s, we have the bowling pin pool. Surrounded by a lady and a tramp. Happens to be my favorite and Julia's favorite movie. That's not favorite Disney movie. That's not favorite cartoon. That is our favorite movie, full stop. It's a work of art. I encourage you to go back and watch it and try to find a serious flaw with it. It is a perfect film. There's a big old jukebox next to the pool, and the laundry building actually looks like a giant shoe locker. The bowling pin pool happens to be our view. We're right outside of our room here, and there's the pool. Up next, the 60s, where everything is groovy, man, and the stairways are yo-yos. Here in the 60s, we have the main pool, the Hippy Dippy pool. Why is it considered the main pool? Because it's the only one that has a bar. We didn't partake, not at those prices at least.
but it's a cool spot to grab a drink, and they even show movies when the sun goes down not too far from here. Next up is the 70s, where the stairways are 8-track tapes.
Here we have a fully functional game of Twister.
And here we have the 80s, where technology really started to play a role in people's day-to-day lives. Here, the stairways are Rubik's Cubes. And in the 90s, technology was a huge part of people's lives.
The Roger Rabbit statue brings us to the 80s and 90s, where we have the laptop-shaped pool.
This pool seemed to be the least busy out of the 3 pools when we visited. I would guess that there's a lot less through traffic here, as it's tucked away to the side.
Like you know, whatever. Back in the 90s, I swam in a laptop design swimming pool. Ooh. There's Hourglass Lake. The Art of Animation Resort is on the other side of the lake, and both of these resorts share the Disney Skyliner. Super convenient. The Skyliner was a game changer, both for the guests and for the Disney company. They're not running nearly as many buses now, and transportation is super efficient when you're on the Skyliner. And if you do a walk around Hourglass Lake, you get all these little interesting factoids that go along with each decade. As far as convenience to the main lobby goes, you want to be in the 60s. We're in the 50s, so it's not that bad. All of the areas are about the same size, except for the 90s, which is the smallest. Everything is so whimsical, and you have different decorations to reflect things that were either invented or made popular in that decade. Like here's foosball. This is not some camera trickery. These things are actually gigantic. This place is so whimsical. I love it. The stairways are all decorated to look super cool. Let's go inside of one of the yo-yos. And we'll walk around and look at it from the outside.
Of course, there's a gift shop, and everything inside is super desirable. Disney is very good at separating you from your money. Connected to the gift shop is the food court, and even though it's cafeteria style, it's still a lot of fun. Of course, they have the Mickey-shaped waffles, classic thing to have at Disney World, as well as being able to get your coffee fix here. All in all, highly recommended for those with little kids, as well as anyone planning on using the Disney Skyliner. We loved our stay at the Pop Century Resort.
Alright, that's gonna about do it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check back all the time for new content. Take care, everyone.